Ja Morant, man, his finishing is unbelievable. Today I'm going to show you some of the keys that he uses that are different than a lot of players do to help him finish more around the rim, and you can plug them right into your game and start scoring more around the rim and get a huge advantage over the competition. So let's jump into it. So in my opinion, Ja Morant around the rim is the best finisher I've seen in years. I'd say he's one of the top 2 in the NBA. Him and Kyrie neck and neck. I would say he's probably just as good as Kyrie, if not better. Go ahead, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about that. Some of the stuff he does is nuts with his footwork, behind the back, different finishes. We're gonna go over a lot of that in this video. But at the end of the day, I wanna make sure you understand at the core of what makes his finishes work so well, what is the big things that are like a part of all of his finishes. So you can make sure you can plug them into your game and then you can advance them as you get better. Now, one thing I want you to understand with these, it's not just about having one of these keys. It's the combination of them that makes you deadly. Because if you're limited with just like, let's say like one of the things that we're gonna go over, one of the first things is he jumps really long with his layups. But if that's all you've got, then it starts to become a little bit predictable. So you need a variety of ways of finishing and a combination of these things from time to time. Sometimes maybe there's gonna be a defender here and maybe you gotta do it behind the back and jump long to get that layup. So one of the first things you'll see Ja do is sometimes we'll have a defender here, right? And a lot of times guys will take a couple extra dribbles or whatever and work their way to try to get into this space here. But what he does that catches so many defenders off guard is he'll jump sometimes from way back here. And the defenders are anticipating them at that point to try to finish here, and he just jumps right past them. Now there's a couple specific techniques he does with that I'm gonna give you that will really help sell it and make it work better. But at the end of the day, even just getting down, jumping from further out can help you a lot. So one thing I would do is I would just work on, okay, I'm gonna just get a good running start and I'm gonna work on seeing how far I can jump away from the hoop to get my layups off, so you can start to develop that skill. That's something that's not just gonna happen overnight if you're always taking your layups and taking off from right there, right? It's a different type of finish because of the way you have to jump. You have to kind of hang in the air for a while. You got to think about jumping far forward, and it's going to throw your timing off too, because to jump far forward and try to still get a finish off around the rim, you're going to be almost on the way down from your jump when you're going into that finish. So you're going to have to kind of go against your body momentum coming down and putting the ball up. But it's something pretty simple to work on. A simple thing you can do is like use a cone as a marker. You could put a cone close to start off, you know, a little bit closer but further than you typically jump from, and try to get your last step from there and see if you can make it. Okay, get that, let's move it back a little further, get that, move it back a little further, and just keep trying to extend it. And Ja, like sometimes he'll jump from like right around here, like the bottom of the circle at the top of the key. And that catches so many guys off guard. So one of the next things you'll see Ja do a lot is look at the defender out here and they know, okay, he jumped past me from time to time. It's their natural reaction to just try to slide back in front of you and try to contest the shot closer to the rim. When they start doing that jump back, he goes into that floater. Now again, this is something you'll want to practice. You'll want to work on getting that floater off from about the, you know, the furthest range that you can get that layup off, that far jumping layup. Work on getting it off from that distance too. So me, I'll work on floaters and runners and things like that, and scoop floaters from all the way out to the 3-point line. In fact, at the end of the video, I'll link you to another video that shows you what I do to practice that and why I practice it. I would work on variations because Ja's good at all kinds of stuff with his floater. He can do it under or over. And that way, you've got different ways of getting that shot off quickly before the defender can try to jump back out or they realize you're gonna get that shot off. And then on top of working on being able to get that shot off from far away, work on getting it off quickly and getting it up nice and high arcing. So that way, if you do get a defender that's tall and jumping out towards you, you're gonna get the shot off quicker than they can anticipate, and then also high where they can't reach it. Next thing that Ja does that is deadly, he combines those last two things to take advantage of defenders. So they know they have to start guarding him out here a little more because he can hit that floater, but they also know that he can go past the rim, so they're kind of gonna be ready to jump back if they see he's gonna do that. So what he'll do is these long jumping floater fakes and then come under. So he'll gather the ball, start to show like he's gonna go up here to get the defender starting to commit on the floater, and then in the air he'll come under and take that long jump. So he's still taking off from far, but he's coming here and then coming under. Part of what makes this work is you gotta be able to get that shot off at the last second so you're still finishing pretty close to the rim. Sometimes he'll do this show here, and even if he's gonna land further in, he will sometimes release it maybe back here instead of releasing it all the way in here. Next thing is something that Ja's a beast at, and most NBA players should be really good at, but I hate to say it, a lot of them aren't, and it's finishing with left hand and right hand. And what that's gonna do is give him a lot more options, right? If I got a defender here, Now I can sell a fake here, and there's a better chance they're gonna commit if they know I finished left before, so I can come finish to the right side. And same thing the other way, right? It makes it harder for them to really know what I'm gonna do, so they have to bite on every little fake that Ja does. The other thing it does is, even on his reverse layups, he's good at both hands with his reverse layups. So sometimes he'll come here, and maybe there's a defender here, so he needs to finish with this hand. But if there's a defender here, then he can finish with this hand. It gives him that option to shield the defender off no matter which side they're on, both with his reverse layups, his regular layups, all that stuff. Next thing you'll see Ja do on pretty much any finish when he doesn't have a full head of steam is if he's got a defender here, he's not gonna just try to jump past them like all the other ones I went over, right? But when it's more of like a half court set offense and he doesn't have a lot of momentum going, he's always going to engage that defender with contact before they can do so with him. So you want to be first to that contact. So he'll sometimes get his off arm in there, he'll kind of get his shoulder in there, sometimes he'll even get his hip into that defender, something. He's always going to get something engaged into them. Now the key thing with this is you don't want to just, run into them direct. You want it to be kind of to their side, so it's more of a veering angle. And sometimes if he has to, he'll take a couple extra dribbles to set this up. So if he doesn't feel like he can take 2 steps and initiate contact and get the shot off, then he's just gonna take one more dribble to get himself that time to now get an arm in there, get a shoulder or hip in there, right? Whatever he's gotta do from there, it's gonna be a lot easier to get that layup off versus me trying to race with them to the hoop and they're gonna move with me and swat that shot. Next thing Ja does a lot is when he's getting close to his defender, sometimes he doesn't really have the ability because they're more like squared up to him to really initiate contact. And he's got a little bit of momentum going, but he doesn't have a clear angle to get past them. It's not like he can just jump around them here because they're doing a good job of staying square. If he comes here, they would stay square. If he's here, they would stay square. Here, they would stay square. So what he'll do a lot of times, he'll kind of sell on his last dribble and step here, a fake like he's gonna come this way, get really tight to the defender, but then if he does that, the defender could hit the basketball. So what he'll do is, in those situations, go behind the back. Again, this is something you're gonna need to practice. All these things you're gonna need to practice to get it down. But from there, boom, boom, now you can get the layup off a little bit easier because the defender isn't there. And a lot of times what he'll do from there is he'll come here, now the ball's in this hand, and as he's jumping, he'll switch hands here, and he'll finish with that left hand on the right side. Comes back to him being good at finishing with both hands, or if he were to come this way, it would be right hand, right foot picking up the basketball, taking that second step with the behind the back, and then as you're jumping, it's hard to stay on balance with that, bring the ball back into 2 hands and then finish with the right hand on the left side. So goofy hand from that behind the back. This next finish is one that brings a lot of the pieces we've talked about so far together, and it was insane. I don't know if you'll see him do this again, but it's definitely a sick finish. He was coming up with a full head of steam. He had a defender here, there was another guy here, so he couldn't really come to that side. So he engaged this defender by trying to take this hard step here, but he was way out here, right? So he couldn't go into this goofy hand finish here, and it would have been an awkward finish to come all the way out here and finish. So what he did is, he just made it a little quicker. He went here, here, and then what you'll notice is he's gonna jump with this leg up. So goofy footed, left foot up, and he finished it with like a floater from way back here. It's like a Euro step by faking this way, going into that behind the back, taking off from here and going almost immediately into that finish with the goofy foot. That's something you will definitely need to practice if you want to get it down. Now, a lot of coaches might not want to see something quite that flashy, even the behind the back before. So something you want to keep in mind. But if you want to boatload more ways to finish around the rim, check out this playlist with a bunch of different Kyrie Irving finishes around the rim. You'll love that because they have a lot in common. And here's the video on why and how you should practice 3-point layups and floaters. Subscribe and turn on all notifications to catch the newest videos.